Hello everyone. For my final paper, I analyzed Metro Exodus, and my argument is that the game teaches survival and tactical decision making through failure instead of instead of just providing direct instructions. My analysis is based on three of James Porgy's learning principles, which include pleasantly frustrating, cycles of expertise, and system thinking. What I found is that the game teaches well wherever I was able to understand the reason of my failure, and it stops teaching wherever this reason stayed hidden from me. The first principle that I want to talk about is pleasantly frustrating. So G argues that a good game keeps you at the right at the edge of your competence, and this is in accordance with the idea of flow, which also describes the same thing, that is the balance between challenge and skill. The gas mask filters taught me this. Early on, I kept suffocating because I never knew how much time I had left on the filters. Then I noticed the watch on Artyom's hand, which showed the time remaining on on the filters, and after that, that's due to the filter running out stopped entirely. The lesson had been on my wrist the whole time. So it separates the frustration that teaches from frustration that plainly punishes you. The second principle was cycles of expertise. So this basically tells that you practice a skill until it becomes automatic, and then the game demands the same skill but at a higher level implementation, which Eichenbaum describes as practice under changing conditions. Moscow taught me stealth and filter management. Volga Tikar then took that habit of monitoring a resource and made it harder because now I had to check the air pressure during a fight. Taiga was the real test because a single cutscene stripped my entire loadout, and yet the habit survived. So it just proved how the equipments were removable, but the learned habits were not. The third principle is system thinking, and system thinking is taught at three scales in this game. So the first one is the level of encounter, where I skipped the starfish because I had no ammunition to spare, and this shortage resulted from the rounds that I wasted much earlier, which is exactly Granik's point about resource trade-offs. Across the Caspian chapter, there were mutant spiders which cannot be killed by shooting at them, so the ammunition economy that I had mastered became useless, and I had to manage a flashlight instead to get rid of these spiders. And across the whole playthrough, the bridge decision cost me Duke, and my choices made in the Caspian chapter cost me Damir. So, with neither of them alive to help, Artyom also died in the end. This shows how the ending was tied to many of the choices that I had already made in the previous chapters that I never even knew were connected, showing how good system thinking is implemented in this game. So, as the last part of the presentation, I would like to highlight some design flaws that stops or prevents Metro Exodus from teaching its players. So this happens mainly at three different places. First one is the stealth detection, which seems to be really inconsistent at some places. So I would add a gradual noise detection system that would, help you to see or give you a sign of an enemy's suspicion before he gets fully alerted. The second thing is the gamma issue, as it feels like, also based on many of the responses I've seen in Reddit, that the game is not properly optimized for different displays. So I would recommend the publisher or the developers to give better optimization to all types of display formats to adopt a better gamma trade-off, because even at default values, the game seems to be too bright in lit areas and too dark in shadowy areas. And the third fix would be regarding the moral economy, which is completely invisible during the gameplay. Instead of adding a morality meter, I would have companions such as Damir or Duke react to me audibly, so that an executed prisoner draws a comment from them, and this would give me an idea of, it would not indicate the presence of the rule in its entirety, but it would give me an idea that such a rule exists. So this is my thesis in one line. A game can hide the explanation, but it can never hide the evidence. And in this slide, you can see all the references that I have used in my paper, as well as these slides. Thank you.